Welcome to our program. Thank you for coming in. President Obama paid moving tribute to how Tunisia set the example for the uprisings across North Africa. And yet today, Chancellor Merkel of Germany has announced that she will be cancelling a trip to your country because of safety concerns in the wake of all these protests. What's your response to that?
Well, I would like to remember you that, in fact, the Islamist movement is a very wide spectrum. And at the far right of this very wide spectrum, you have the Salafist movement. And the Salafist movement itself is a wide spectrum. You have part of this spectrum represented by people who are just for them is a matter of religion, worshipping, and so forth. And then we have within this part of the spectrum a tiny minority. It's a tiny minority within a tiny minority who are our Salafist, jihadist. And those people are against democracy, are against women's rights, are against human rights at all, are against West, and so forth. And this tiny minority, no more than 3,000 people in all Tunisia.
3,000?
3,000, no more by the report of the police, just 3,000 people. You know, this Black Friday, you know, when we have this riots against the American embassy, there were just 300 people, no more.
Who were they? Were they terrorists? Was there Al-Qaeda, or was it just these...
I think I wouldn't say that they are linked to Al-Qaeda. Maybe some are linked to Al-Qaeda, but I think that, in fact, they are the product of the Tunisian society, you know, product of poverty, literacy, and so forth. So they are part of our society, but they are, I would say, the dark side of our society. And this is why dealing with this problem is quite difficult, because they are Tunisian, but also I think they are now the most important threat against Tunisia. Not against the stability of the country, because this country is stable, but against the image of Tunisia. You know, just imagine, we have more than 5 million tourists every year in Tunisia. Tourists. And it's very important for the economy of the country. So when you have just one tourist, you know, injured by this kind of guy, and imagine the newspaper in Europe saying, look, and then you have economic crisis in the country just because of very, very few people.
Well, I want to get to how you're going to overcome that in a second, but your direct response to Angela Merkel cancelling her visit.
In fact, I knew that she would not come to Tunisia, but not only for security reasons, because I think that her agenda was also very complicated. I'm quite sure that Angela Merkel is backing the democratic process in Tunisia. She sent us a lot of messages saying, look, I'm coming, but probably not now, but she will come, and I'm quite sure that Germany, Europe, and the United States are backing the process in Tunisia, because everybody knows that Tunisia is a lab, and that if we do not succeed the transition to democracy in Tunisia, it will never work in any other part of the Arab world.
You mentioned the United States. The US, I hear, wants Tunisia to pay for the damage to the embassy, to the school that was attacked. Will you do that?
Look, I have had a very good meeting yesterday with Mrs. Clinton, and she assured me that she is personally a friend of Tunisia, that the US government is a friend of Tunisia, that they are going to help us building our security forces, training our security forces, backing our giving more military equipment. So I think the situation is quite different than you are describing.
So they haven't asked you to pay for the damage?
She didn't talk about this issue. We talked just about how the United States would improve the support to Tunisian government, because our American friends know very well that, of course, the Tunisian population and the Tunisian government were extremely shocked by what happened, and they are extremely against it, and they want really to set up new democracy. And Tunisia, once again, is a lab of the Arab Spring. So we have to succeed, and our friends have to support us to succeed.
Mr. President, I just want to show you some video that they'll play on that wall there. It is from last spring, months ago, but it is a group of Tunisians shouting, "Obama, Obama, we're all Osama." So as you see this video, I want to ask you how you then get control of what you say is a very small minority, but nonetheless a minority that has made its presence felt and that is terrifying the bejesus out of everybody, particularly here in the United States. How do you fight these violent Salafists?
Look, you have the same problem. We don't mix up in Tunisia or in the Arab world the far right groups in Europe or the white supremacists in the United States with the American people or the American government. So why should we be mixed up with once again, with a very, very tiny minority?
How do you combat them? Because here they are, you have to admit, violent.
Yeah.
The supremacists and the neo-Nazis have a different way of behaving, bad, but not quite like this.
I must admit that we didn't realize how dangerous they can be for the stability, for the image of the country, and not for the stability. But because once again, Tunisia is a stable country, a stable society. We are not afraid from these guys, but they are harmful for the image of Tunisia. And now we have to take the issue very seriously. I must admit that it wasn't easy for us, you know, to have crack down on this guy, because we have been in prison ourselves. Many have been submitted to torture. We do know what does it mean to be in prison, what does it mean for families and so forth. This is why I admit that it's very, very difficult for us to go and say repression, repression, repression. But now we're dealing with this state affairs, and we have to take our responsibilities, and we are going to take our responsibilities.
Has this event, if you like, this film and then the protest and the violence of this month, has it been a turning point for you?
Yes, because we realized that these guys, in fact, were dangerous for our image, once again, the image of Tunisia abroad, but now they are threatening our relationship to our to the whole world, and now it's a matter of national security, and we are also very upset by what's going on in the northern part of Mali. We are afraid that our tiny minority could be linked with other many tiny minorities, and then they became a majority, and they became very dangerous. This is why we're surely that we're going to tackle the problem with the help of our Algerian friends, Libyan friends, because it's really it's becoming a real problem in this area in this part of the world.
And you mentioned, you know, big business for Tunisia is tourism.
Yeah.
And you know, there are fewer and fewer young ladies going to the beach in their bikinis. Yeah. You know, we've seen Salafists attack liquor stores, theaters, this and that. Again, it's a law enforcement situation. Can you get that under control to protect your own economy?
What you talk about, you know, exhibition. We have had more than 280 exhibitions last year. Only six was disturbed by Salafists. This gives you the scale once again.
You mean art exhibitions?
Yes, art exhibitions and so forth. But of course, the newspaper would talk about the 6 disturbed by the Salafists and not by the 280 who are not disturbed by the Salafists. So once again, please, the scale of the problem must be seen like it is. You know, it's a minority. They are very, very harmful for the image of the Tunisia. But in fact, it's still a minority, and we're going to tackle the problem from not only from the security point of view, but also social and economic point of view, because those guys are jobless, are poor, are the illiteracy and so forth. So it's easy, you know, to say just crack down by the security forces, but also we have to tackle the roots of the problem.
Well, exactly, and the root of the problem is, of course, the economy, and that was Bouazizi's rallying cry when he set himself on fire. You said that you had asked when you came into office for sort of a social political truce. You asked for about 6 months, and we have your words on the wall. If things aren't working out within 6 months, I'll submit my resignation. Right now, unemployment has gone from 13% in January of 2011 to about 18.3% in January of this year. Are things working or not? And does that put in play your promise? I mean,
yes.
Are you going to resign over this?
No, I'm not going to resign, because we are, you know, we're seeing the end of this nightmare, I would say, because, you know, it's an intermediate government, and we have to tackle many issues at the same time. Having a new constitution, having new laws, and solving the social and economic problem. Nobody could do this in 1 year. We need to be gods, and we are not gods. We are just humans.
That's why we wondered why you'd put that statement out.
And I think that we probably were going to have elections in few months. It hasn't been nothing to resign now, because we submit all our policy to the public, to the opinion of the people in probably in April. So And then I would be proud to go to say, look, what we have achieved in 1 year, in 1.5 years. Now we have a constitution, we have a democratic state, we deal with the problem of Salafis and so forth. And you know, nobody would invest in Tunisia if you don't have this stable government. This is the prerequisite, you know. So we are organizing the prerequisite of having a new economy and social development and so forth.
Are you optimistic, and that you can get a really progressive constitution that doesn't have fundamentalist, anti-women provisions?
Absolutely, absolutely. We are going to have one of the best constitutions of the world, promoting human rights, women's rights. You know, the words about women are complementary of the completely forget about it, you know.
That was terrible.
It was
sort
terrible.
of like a helpmate to a man.
Yes, but I think...
So that has no chance of passing?
Absolutely, and Sharia also, no chance.
No way Sharia.
Even the word is not in the Constitution. We're going to have real progressive Constitution with all human rights protected. The problem would be to implement this very nice Constitution. This would be another problem. But yes, we are going to have a secular Constitution, very good Constitution. We're going to have fair elections. We're going to have a new democratic state and stable state. And then I hope that the economy would recover, because you cannot have an economy recovery without solving the social, the political problems.
Well, Mr. President, Tunisia is the cradle of the Arab uprising. I wish you all the best, and thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much. Thank you.